Hello, I am Diego. I am one of your youth pastors, and I am here today to teach you to draw. Now, some of you might be really good at this. Some of you are just absolutely terrible at this. And you know what? God still loves you no matter what. That's the beauty of the gospel. We're going to be talking about that a lot this week. However, today is going to be a day where we get to learn to do this. Now, I have been drawing for a long time. I'm 27 now, so I started drawing 25 years ago when I was 2 years old in my home of San Salvador, El Salvador. A little Spanish lesson, you can also say San Salvador, El Salvador. So you just learned a little bit of Spanish and you're going to learn drawing. You're going to become a better person at the end of all of this. I just hope you know. I hope you know that, okay? You're welcome. Now, there's a little purpose to this. You might have seen a little teaser video about what is going to happen, but what we're going to do is we're going to try to broaden our horizons by learning a new skill. Okay? Does that sound good? Does that sound good? Okay, good. And so I think that one of the most amazing things, hold on. One of the most amazing things about creation is the fact that God created diversity. Hold on, I'm getting it on. Hold on. Can you help me with this? Okay, no, you're good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there it is. Okay, I got it. See that? You see? You see that? Okay. One of the most amazing things about creation is the fact that God, hold on, I'm getting through this. One of the most amazing things about creation is the fact that God created so many different kinds of people. And as an artist, I try to capture that as best as possible. Now for me, I love drawing superheroes. I love Spider-Man, I love Superman, I'm a big fan of all of these things. And I also love drawing portraits. You know, recreating God's creation on a piece of paper is pretty exciting for me because I get to, capture what God created. And so I think a good opportunity for us today is to capture the vast spectrum of God's creation through two people that you might know and that have influenced you in your life. Two people that are here this week at summer camp. One of these people being our youth director, Ryan Peters. You know this man. He is a tall man. He is a wise man. He is a kind man. And he's also a hairy man. God loves him, and he made him that way. And so he's got a nice beard, nice, thick, full head of hair. And so I think it'd be good to draw a portrait of how God put us together that way. On the other end of the spectrum, somebody else you might know, bald man, kind man. What he lacks in hair, he makes up for in wisdom and kindness as well. And so he's Dave McNeil, our director of care ministries, one of the teachers around here. And so I think it'd be pretty good. Sorry, I know I put a wig on. Isn't that crazy? I think it'd be a good idea to capture. Okay, hold on. I need to start that part over. Hold on. You guys, I see you all breaking down, and I'm like, I'm keeping it. Okay, you know what? Maybe we just keep that. I don't know. Maybe we just figure that out. Okay, all right. This feels natural, and so I think that it'd be a good idea to learn how to capture God's creation in this way. Don't you think? I think. Okay, so here's the plan. We're going to learn to draw. We're going to learn to capture two different people on two different physical appearances. But there's going to be a catch. I'm going to teach you how to draw Ryan and Dave. But what's going to happen is, after I teach you how to draw them, it's going to be up to you to be as creative as you possibly can with the thing that I just drew. Okay? So you get to customize these guys. So you get to, if you want to make Dave, if you want to make Ryan Santa Claus and Dave Buddy the Elf, you can absolutely do that. Okay? As appropriate as you can be and as kind as you can be. Remember, we still love Jesus. We're not going to make fun of anybody, but we are going to get a chance to be a little bit creative. So you're going to have all the supplies with you to do that. Color, add whatever you want. You want to give Dave a backwards cap because, that's cool, right? Then do that. Then go for it, okay? But we need to start talking about the I would say the foundations of drawing a head. Now, I'm going to turn over here. So God bless and God bless. Okay, here I am. Hello, nice to meet you. And so what's going to happen is I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about how we usually draw a head. Now, so a lot of us, when we see a head, we just imagine a big old oval, just something like this. And quite frankly, that's the saddest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. You ever seen anyone's head shaped like that? If you have, don't mention it, okay? Because essentially they would just look like this. That is the scariest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. We don't want that. We're going to learn the artistic foundations of a head, okay? So here's the plan. A head is shaped in 2 different shapes. In fact, imagine more so, it's a circle and 5 different lines, okay? And I would call it, the shape that we call it is the trapezoid. The trapezoid is the shape that, you know what I'm talking about, the trapezoid, okay. All right, so basically this is the way it looks. The head is split up into the circle, which is like the cranium, and then you have the trapezoid, which is, I'm so funny, I make myself laugh, isn't that crazy? Okay, so you have the trapezoid. This is usually that makes up like the brain part of the head, and then you got the jawline. That's so funny. And so you got the jawline, and that even then, that's still. So we're gonna get rid. Yeah, we don't want that. We don't want that. Now the thing about heads is that they come in all different shapes and sizes. And so that circle part is going to be our brain, our skull, the skull cap. And then that trapezoid part is going to be that trapezoid part is going to be your jawline. So it's coming down from the ears, down to the jaw, and through the chin. So I prefer to see it as 5 different lines. You want your cranium, you want line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. And there's your head. And usually what we do is we split it up in half, and then in a quadrant, and then we can start separating. So over here we have an eye, the nose goes down the middle, the mouth goes right there, and it lines up with the jawline. And then you got your ear, and then your hairline, okay? Pretty good as far as I've ever seen. I'm sobbing, by the way. So we don't want that though. We're gonna do better. We're gonna do better at that, okay? Okay, so let me just wipe my tears off, okay? Are you still with me? Are you still with me? Okay, all right. Let's do this. Okay, so we're gonna draw Ryan Peters. All right, this is a good looking man, okay? He's tall, once again. First notable quality. We're just gonna get his head. All right, now we want to make sure we understand is that Ryan, he's got a sort of like a stubble beard and a mustache that goes along with that as well. So we're going to capture all of that. But the first thing we got to establish is the head. So we're going to take this in steps. We're going to draw a nice solid jawline. Remember those 5 lines. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Boom, jawline. You did it. Congratulations, okay? God bless. And so then we're gonna focus on the ears. The ears come next. You're gonna put one line that goes up, and you're just gonna make a little like upside down L. You're just gonna do one of these bad boys. All right, there you got an ear. That's pretty nice. And now we're gonna do some ears. You're gonna do a little one of those. You're gonna bring that down here like that. Yeah, that's nice. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We want to make the cranium now. Now this is the part where the brain is at. Now listen, your boy in high school had a nickname, and it was called One Notch, because your boy's cranium could only hit one notch of the hat, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, so we were struggling. If I was drawing myself, my head, whoa, take up the whole sheet. Just kidding. Okay, so so basically we're gonna draw this head. Now Ryan, once again, has a beautiful head of hair. Beautiful head of hair. He's got what you would call the taper fade. So it starts out skinny on the sides, comes out this way. Wow, you see that? And so then you're gonna come out a little bit angled, just a little bit angled. And then Ryan's got like a nice little, like, you know, just got some hair popping out this way. Now I understand he looks like Hey Arnold currently, but we're figuring it out. We're understanding the topography, okay? The topography of the drawing. And so here we go. We're creating this. Now you've got a little side part that comes up here. It comes like that. And so we're gonna make a swoop, just like that. See, you can already tell. You already know who that is. And his hairline is going to be our next step. So we're going to go back to the ears, and we're just going to create a little line that pops out this way, parallel with his skull. And we're just going to just follow along with this shape. Just follow along with this shape. Ryan's, you know, he's got a nice little hairline there. All right, great. And then we're going to just connect all these lines to show the stroke of the hair, the way it just curves over like a wave. Like a wave. And so we're gonna keep going. We're just gonna rock with this. You let, as the Spirit leads you, you let it go wherever you think it needs to go. Okay? Now we want to line up here. Our eyes typically, our eyes are lined up with our ears. Like this. Okay? Just like that. They just go like that. And so that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. Okay? All right. Okay, so we're going to line up with the ears. So we put an eye, we're going to put one dot, just one little dot. One little dot. Those are our markers. So now we know exactly where we're going to draw this eye. So an eye just does a little shape like that. Yep, see, just like that. That's nice. That's beautiful. And then we're going to connect that shape with like an upside down version of that shape. Okay, that's good. This is really good, guys. This is really good. And then we're going to draw some eyebrows. We want to get those furrows on top of that. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to just pop those eyebrows up here. Look at that. I mean, you know, Ryan, he's a kind man, but you know, sometimes he has a stern look. You know, sometimes he seems a little upset. If you see him, just say, "Hey, I hope you're having a good day." You know, maybe turn that frown upside down. How's that sound? Okay. All right, good. All right, so we got our eyeballs. We're going to just add a little one of these. Rarely is the eyeball a full circle. Instead, it's a half circle, as they say. And we're going to tie that nose in there. We're going to just create a nice nose. Don't be afraid to take multiple strokes, you know? Just, you know, you gotta identify what's going on here. Okay, all right. Okay, so we're gonna, I just turned into a surfer. That was crazy. All right, so we're coming down to the nose. We're figuring it out, okay? Oh, look at that, happy little accident right there. Whoopsie daisy. As we're coming down to the nose, we're gonna get the nostrils in there. So the nostrils come out this way, and then we're gonna bring them down this way. And then the nose just is one of those bad boys. Okay, now we have a nose. He can smell things. The senses are being engaged, gentlemen and ladies. This is a good thing. All right, now, the mustache. The mustache. Okay, all right. I don't want to mess this up. Beautiful. And then we just keep going. We want to get that mustache nice and full, okay? This is a man who has hair and he takes advantage of it. He takes advantage of that. That's using God's talents, God's gifts. I'm pretty sure that's in one of the Gospels. So just make sure you read those whenever you get a chance, okay? All right, but keep in mind, Ryan he's got a stubble. He used to have a beard. Used to look great. I'm quite jealous of that. But he's gonna get a nice little bottom lip situation going on there. Okay, so we're gonna keep that going. We're gonna keep that going. It's gonna keep going down. We're gonna create some light stubble here. Now you can add stubble whichever way your heart so desires. And I don't know why I've got this southern accent going on now, but it's just sticking with me. I ain't going nowhere. All right. So we want to add some stubble. Now stubble is hard because it's time consuming. You don't want to consume your time. You want to use it wisely. And so we're gonna just create little light marks. Just little, go as the Lord guides you. Just get in. Just go for it. Like get creative with it. just you feel the volume of the cheeks and the skin, like these things all they matter, you know, like just feel it, be one with it. Okay, all right. So, all right. Okay, all right. Now we got the base. We got the base of the face. Okay, that rhymed. And so now we're gonna just pop a little neck situation. This is an easy hack. You just want to do that. Ryan's always got a collared shirt on. Always. So you're just gonna do something simple like this. Boop, 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 boom. There's a collar. All right. So now we got Mr. RP, Ryan Peters. We've accomplished that. We've done it. This is the other end of the spectrum that we've talked about with the hair, with all the hair. Okay. Now, next step. Actually, I don't want to tear this aggressively. I want to be kind. I want to be gracious. Take a picture of this if you need to take a picture of it. Okay, just take a picture. It's pretty good. Okay, I want to be gracious with it. And so, wow, did you see that? That was a little crazy, huh? Wow. Okay. So we're going to be very careful now. We don't want to go too far. Okay. So here's the deal. We're going to draw Mr. Dave McNeil. All right, our director of Care Ministries. Now, Dave again is on the opposite side of the spectrum. He might be a little bit easier to draw, you know, just because we don't have to really worry about adding some extra details. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Okay, so we're gonna keep this going. Remember our trick. We start with the jawline. Now I'm gonna pop this click open. We start with the jawline. We're gonna add a nice, strong jawline for Mr. Dave McNeil because he's been through some Iron Man. So you naturally, when you Iron Man it up, you're gonna get a strong jawline. Okay, and so the jawline comes up here. And we're gonna pop the ears out. Now Dave's ears, they don't go out, they come in. Sort of like when you go in to like a Golden Corral. You know, you just doors open, and they open, and they open again. So it's in, and in. They go in. And so Dave's ears, we're gonna instead of popping them out, we're gonna just have them come a little bit towards his head this way. All right, Michael Jordan has the same ears, fun fact. Isn't that pretty cool? Michael Jordan. You take that home, okay? No, you take that home. We're gonna add some earlobes. We're gonna add a little bit of earlobe situation there. And then we're gonna do this part. Now we gotta get this part right. A head is no head without its head. I believe it was C.S. Lewis. That's not true. No, don't believe me. All right, we're gonna make this down. There you go. We're gonna add this. There we go. All right, there's Dave's head. All right. Now we're gonna do the same thing that we did before. We're gonna add our eyes. We're just gonna make sure that they're equally proportionate. All right, we're gonna just put that there. We're gonna put his eyes underneath there. Half tones, you know, half circles. That's all we need. That's all we need, okay? And then we're gonna go for the nose. We're gonna go for the nose. Once again, we're just gonna, we know what we're doing. You don't need to slow down around here, okay? If you feel slow at this, I would advise you to be fast. Okay, all right. All right. So we're gonna get his smile in there. Now Dave's a happy man. Dave's a happy man. We're gonna give him a nice, big smile. All right, we're gonna put his teeth in there. We're gonna put that in there. All right, and we're gonna give him one of these. Like he's got a little bit of some dimple action going on over there. That's nice. And then we're gonna give these. Dude's always smiling so much he got a wrinkle. Been there, done that, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so then we're gonna put the chin, all right, and then we're gonna add Dave's eyebrows. Kind eyebrows, kind man. All right, we're gonna put this here and put this here. We're gonna add a little bit of the details on the head, and then, yeah, here we are. And we're gonna give Dave a nice, he's gonna have a chin, a neck, a nice chiseled neck, okay? I believe that as an Iron Man gets more iron, his neck irons out, if you know what I'm saying. Okay? All right, so we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we're going to do that. Okay, and then we're going to just pop a little collard situation, and there we are. That's Mr. Dave McNeil. Handsome man, good-looking man, clean. Clean man. Okay? All right. Clean. Now that's it. That's our lesson. We've done Dave, we've done Ryan. Now it's your turn to add a little bit of creativity to the mix. So add what you want. Be appropriate. Okay? This is not be appropriate, not weirdo. So we're gonna just add, if you wanna add a backwards hat, some sunglasses, a Where's Waldo sweater. If you wanna give them a little bit of earmuffs, or maybe a little bit of like a Chuck E. Cheese t-shirt, I don't know. Pray about it, see what happens. You got the supplies, all right? I'll show you a little bit of an example of what I will do, and then you, now, I also wanna be gentle with Dave. I don't wanna, you know, I want to be like, just very lightly. I don't want to be too aggressive with him, but I do just want to, you know, just make sure we get it clean off of there. So, okay, all right. So, got some tears in my eyes. All right. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw a little bit of what I see as creativity. All right. Now, Dave, he does a lot of Iron Man, so I think you know exactly where I'm gonna go with this. So I'm gonna draw Dave. You can't steal my idea either way. Hey. You can't steal my idea, okay? You can't do it. I know where you live, so you can't steal it. All right, so we're gonna draw Dave's head. We're gonna be real quick about it. We're gonna be nice and sleek with it. Hey, guess what? This marker sucks. Never use a junky marker, okay? You're better than that. All right, so there we go. We're gonna add Dave's head in here. See, I'm a profesh. So I know what I'm doing here. I've seen Dave, I've talked to Dave, I've worked with Dave, I'm friends with Dave, dare I say. I hope he says the same thing. And so I'm gonna just make his little details here quick. They might be rough, but they're still accurate. All right, we're gonna give him that superhero smirk. We're gonna give him, yeah, there are his eyes right there. Yeah, there's Dave. Again, that soft smile, caring smile, but always here to care for you and anyone who might need anything. All right, so give him that chiseled Iron Man neck. But once again, he's got an Iron Man suit on now. I think he needs to live into his name just a bit, you know? So I don't know where he got it. Maybe he went to Goodwill and they had one on sale, as they say. And you know, for it was one of those days where everything red was 99 cents. And so my man Dave went and got himself a bargain, you know, and that's a pretty nice deal, especially with inflation these days. You ever learned about inflation? Inflation inflates. So we keep going, and we just, you know, we got to make sure we get those suit details in there, and we just keep, you got to make sure you get that volume on those biceps. And we get those biceps in there, and then there you go. Look at that. Now we got Iron Man, Iron Dave, as they say. So you get creative with that. You do whatever you want to do. Be appropriate, be kind as Jesus would, and that's it. I'll see you later.